when he wanted you to do something, he would point at you and scream at you. And my buddy Mike, who was born and raised in Colombia, told me this dude is probably Mexican drug cartel. Like he is acting like it, or he's just like a super dangerous guy from Mexico. So anyways, my friend, we went to the New York bar. We got totally wasted at the Peak Lounge and Park Hyatt. Highly recommend. They do a no me whole dive for 2 hours. 7,000 yen a person, kind of pricey, but all the cocktails from New York bar, it's fucking awesome. We were totally wasted. We had like 10 or 15 cocktails. And then we're walking around Shinjuku Sancho Mei. And so the three guys from New York, one of them was born in Colombia. The other two are actually also from South Florida. So, we're all kind of, yeah. And the Colombian friend also, I went to school with him in Florida. So we're all from Florida. And they can all speak Spanish pretty well. And we were like at an izakaya in like Shinjuku Sancho Mei after the bar. And everyone was just kind of speaking Spanish, just kind of joking around because everyone's Spanish sucks. And it was just kind of fun. I don't know. And so we go from that place to a karaoke. And as we're leaving, two of the friends from London start talking to this guy inside the izakaya. And I jokingly said, oh, it's a Mexican Brad Pitt. Because he was a very beautiful looking Mexican man, not going to lie. And so they brought this guy and they brought this guy's friend into the karaoke with us. So we ended up inside a karaoke around 2 or 3 a.m. with these two guys from Mexico. And the guys didn't know they were in Japan, is the first thing. And they kept, the guy that was not Mexican Brad Pitt, the other guy that looked like Tuco from Breaking Bad, he figured out that I could speak Japanese. But, he's like, oh, you can speak Chinese? Okay, so I became this guy's like servant for the next like hour and a half. And we were at karaoke. And this dude was ordering like 15 like gigantic things of sake over and over and over again, and whiskey and all this stuff. And we were at a karaoke, it's like the shittiest, like, Nihonshu sake or whatever.
It's not the top shelf stuff, that's for sure.
No. And like, at first, I think we let these guys come with us because we're like, ha, 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 this will be funny. Like two random dudes, like, and we didn't know they could speak English because we were all speaking Spanish with them, kind of joking around. But it turns out the guy that was not Mexican Brad Pitt, the other guy, the Tuco dude, was extremely aggressive, and he started pointing at us and forcing us to do things. And
so he's just like real Tuco.
He was a lot like real Tuco. And my buddy from Colombia, Mike, as the guy was he was shouting at us, telling us to do stuff. He was, forcing us to drink, forcing us to dance to the Backstreet Boys and all this other shit. And my buddy Mike is like,
that's a serious offense right there.
No, it was really weird. Me and my buddy Mike were like dancing. We're kind of like, ha ha, this is funny, but also like, wait. And he kept freaking out when people tried to leave. He's like, where are you going? You stay in here. Kind of like screaming at us and all this stuff. And Mike kind of whispered to me, and the other two guys, also from South Florida, were like, yo, these guys, like, they kind of seem like cartel. Like they seem like Mexican cartel. And so we kept asking them like, yo, why are you guys out here in Japan? And they kept saying, oh, we have business in China. So, we're waiting for our flight, blah, blah, blah. And, and as I said, they didn't know that they were in Japan. They, he kept pointing at me and saying, this guy can speak Chinese. Get him to get us some more drinks, And so that's what I kept doing.
With your impeccable Chinese ability.
Yeah, with my impeccable Chinese ability at a Japanese karaoke. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it was probably crazier than it. I'm not doing a great job of explaining it, but the thing that really got me is he started forcing us to drink like absurd amounts of alcohol, and we had already drank so much.
So I'm going to stop you right there. How did it end?
So it ended by him forcing us to drink a lot of alcohol, and everyone wanted to get the fuck out of there. He was also kind of like touching some of the girls in very inappropriate ways. He was doing like weird shit. And he like when he wanted you to do something, he would point at you and scream at you, like, in English or whatever. So, it was kind of like we were all really intoxicated. And my buddy Mike, who was born and raised in Colombia, told me this dude is probably Mexican drug cartel. Like he is acting like it, or he's just like a super dangerous guy from Mexico. And I mean, they were flying back to Mexico City. They told us that. So anyways, he had me drink like a huge thing of sake, or he drank the whole thing of sake. And he looked at me, he's like, hey, bro, in Mexico, if you don't drink the whole thing like me, we fucking kill you. And so I was like drinking little by little, trying to keep up with the dude. And at that point, I realized how drunk I was. And this dude was like giving me crazy bad vibes and freaking me out. My heart was like racing. And I'm like, oh, I'm having a panic attack. And so I left and went outside. And then one by one, a bunch of my other friends came out. And we just like waited for those guys to leave. And yeah, supposedly they tried to pay with some weird card, according to the Japanese karaoke, but they didn't pay and they fucking left in a taxi. So we had to cover like this insane bill because the dude wouldn't stop.
I gotta
ordering.
know, how much was it?
It was about $1,000. Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, but there was like 7 of us, so it wasn't that bad.
That's still though. Ooh, that burns. That burns.
I mean, spending $1,000 at a karaoke is difficult. You have to order like 15 drinks every 15 minutes.
I gotta say, man, you got 2 code.
Yeah, that was my the end of the night.
Well, I guess they always say trick or treat. I guess you got the trick.